Hello, dear students. Very warm welcome to Dr. Zia Ahmed YouTube channel. Today we shall be briefly discussing Introduction to Post-Structuralism with the question in mind that if we had structuralism already, what was the need to bring in the post-structuralism? So let us enter into it and see how and how much we can have a discussion on this. If we try to define post-structuralism, it says it's a critical framework that emerged in 20th century as a reaction against structuralism, particularly in the field of literature, philosophy, and social sciences. So up to this definition does not hold anything good for us. Simply it gives the information that in the mid 20th century the post-structuralism has started. While structuralism sought to identify the underlying structures, linguistic systems, cultural codes, social patterns that govern meaning and human behavior. So, this is the thing which tells us and takes us back to structuralism, where three or four things were important. For example, linguistic system, cultural codes, social patterns, which helped us to determine the meanings of a given text or to determine the meaning of human behavior. But then, what is this post structuralism? The definition says that it challenges the very notion of fixed structure. So, what is being challenged? Something which is fixed. If, for example, the meaning was fixed, the coherence was fixed, or universal truths were fixed, this post structuralism is going to question that, is going to challenge that. This is what the definition of this thing can be. For example, it challenges all which the structuralism had established. So that is why some of the core ideas would be there to be considered. The first one is rejection of fixed meaning, definitely. Post-structuralists argue that meaning is not stable or fixed. It is fluid. So meaning is fluid according to the post-structuralist. It is contingent and always subject to the reinterpretation. Definitely, every age has its own interpretations. So whenever you reinterpret something, according to the post structuralist, the new meaning possibly can be there. For example, they say language, culture, and text are seen as dynamic and open to multiple interpretations. So, according to the post structuralist, neither the language nor the culture or the text are static. They are dynamic. So, with every passing moment, their dynamics can change. And so, they are liable to be multiple interpretations. That is the first core idea of the post structuralist people. The second idea of the post structuralist is that it's a critique of binary opposition. For example, the people who belong to the structuralist school of thought, they think that there's always the binary opposition, that you can understand one thing against the understanding of the other thing which is opposite to that. For example, good, and then it is going to be evil. Male, female, nature, culture. The post structures say that this binary opposition is not always fixed. It's not always natural. It's not always neutral. It is liable to be changed. It is liable to be constructed with regard to the power that possibly may be existing here and there. And that is why the second core idea rejects the idea that binary opposition is always stable, always natural, according to the structuralist. Post structuralists go to object that. And in the same way, then we have the core idea number 3 of the post structuralism. And it is about the textuality and intertextuality. According to them, all texts which are available in this world, they do not exist separately, but rather they exist collectively. For example, every text can be found in the other text. So there are intertextual references all the time available. The intertextual references available everywhere. So it means that the text can be seen in the cultural context and can be understood in the same way as well. The core idea goes to suggest there is no single individual text, but rather it belongs to a web of the intertextual references. The fourth core idea is about the power and knowledge. This thing, as is the word going to suggest, was given by Michel Foucault, who says that post structuralism examines how power and knowledge are intertwined. Truth and meaning are not objective, but are produced within the system of power. So, this is something very significant to understand that knowledge and power, both of these things, have a kind of interrelationship. That knowledge is defined by the power, or it is not the case that power is defined by the knowledge. So, that is why the meaning of the truth or to be being objective is not possible, but it will be produced under the system of the power. That is the core idea of the post structuralism, core idea number 4. And now we have some of the key figures in this post structuralism. Let us see first of all what is the first one. It is going to be Jacques Derrida. According to Jacques Derrida, there is a deconstruction theory that works to analyze text once again to see the ambiguities and contradictions available in the text. So, deconstruction would see the ambiguities and the kind of contradictions, because of which the meaning of the text would be undermined. And so, Michel Foucault also supports him in a different way by saying how power shapes knowledge and discourse, focusing on institutions like prison, medicine, and sexuality. So, all these things combine together to construct the meaning. And that is why the meaning of a text cannot be stable, cannot be truthful all the time. There are loopholes in it, there are ambiguities in it, contradictions in it, which can be understood with the help of the power structures, with the help of the discourses, which are shaped by power and knowledge both. So, in this way, these two key figures became important in case of post structuralism. We have more key figures. For example, this one at the number 1 slide, it says that Roland Barthes, for example, says advocated for the death of the author, that according to him, author is dead. It means that author is not important. Who is important? It is the reader who has become more important. So each time a new reader would read the text of the author would remain the same, but the meaning will be understood with respect to the understanding and interpretation of the reader. Same is the case with Julia Kristeva, who also played a good role in post-structuralism by introducing the concept of intertextuality, which explored how texts interact and shape one another. So Julia also says that the text cannot exist alone, they interpret and interact with one another. And then comes the third. It says Jean Baudrillard. Jean Baudrillard is a postmodern critic and philosopher and theorist. According to him, there is all the time hyperreality. Reality does not exist, but rather it exists in the form of simulations. And these simulations combine together to create a sense of hyperreality. So this hyperreality is again not stable because one hyperreality can create another hyperreality. So meaning could collapse, and as a result, it can be formulated again and again. So these all key figures go to suggest only one point, that fixed meaning is not possible with the help of the context, the available situation in which the text is being created, and the person who's reading the text all account together to understand the meaning in ever new ways. Where this post structuralism can be effectively employed can be seen here, for example, first of all, in the literary criticism, because it challenges the idea of fixed interpretations. So, multiple interpretations can be possible. It can be applied in the cultural studies also to analyze how cultural phenomena are constructed and interpreted. Similarly, it can be practiced in philosophy also because it helps us critiquing the metaphysical and universalist assumptions. Then is the political theory, in which also some of the questions can be posed on the grand narratives, whether they are really grand or they are universal ideologies, whether they are really universal. So, in this way, post structuralism can be applied in some such fields. However, this is possibility for us to summarize these differences of structuralism and post structuralism. After reading all that, we can say that the fixed structures have been considered fluid and changeable according to the post structuralist. And similarly, universal truths have been rejected and they embraced because multiplicity of meaning. And the third point, meaning is stable and objective, as structuralism says. Meaning is contingent and subjective, according to the post-structuralist. The structuralists also say that these systems can be analyzed. Deconstruction is the name of the challenging the assumptions by deconstructing those systems. So structuralism only analyzes, but post-structuralism deconstruct the systems as well. So in this way, the summary of the whole differences can be calculated. Then ultimately, we reach to the point of conclusion, which says one very dominant thing, that post-structuralism is less about providing answers and it is more about questioning the assumptions, revealing the instability of system we often take for granted. So, in brief words, we can say that if structuralism provided some of the answers, post structuralism came forward to challenge these very answers and put more questions to that. So, in that way, post structuralism is, although starting with structuralism, is different from destructuralism. So, thank you for watching. Hope to see you in some next video. If you like and understand something out of this video, it would be very good that if you go to hit the subscribe button and the like button and comment if you please as well. Thank you for watching.